To step away is to take control, to reclaim what's been stolen from you by the noise, the chaos, and the endless distractions of a world that never stops. It's not running, it's not hiding. It's strategy. It's the bold move of someone who knows they're destined for more but refuses to fight the battle on enemy ground. Because the truth is, you can't rebuild yourself in the middle of the same storm that broke you. You've got to step out, walk away, and face the silence. But silence, that's the part most people fear. It's unnerving, isn't it? No voices to drown out the doubts in your head, no schedules to distract you from the things you've been avoiding. When you step away, you face yourself, and that's where the power begins. You start to hear things you couldn't before. Your own intuition, your gut, your instincts. They all get louder when the world gets quieter. And let me tell you, those voices, the ones inside you, they've been waiting for this moment. They've been drowned out by everything you thought was important, what they said, what they wanted, what they expected. But now, in the stillness, it's just you and them. And they have something to say. Stepping away isn't weakness, it's strength. It's recognizing that you need space to realign, to recalibrate, to remember what you're fighting for. Because staying in the noise and the mess and the constant grind, that doesn't make you tougher, it makes you tired. And a tired fighter loses every time. But a fighter who retreats, who goes back to the corner to regroup, that's a fighter who's about to change the game. When you step away, something extraordinary happens. You start to see the world for what it is. The manipulation, the games, the distractions, they all become clearer. You notice how much of your energy was being drained by things that don't matter, by people who don't deserve it. And in that clarity, you begin to take your power back. You start choosing where your focus goes, where your time goes, where your life goes. That's freedom. That's control. It's not easy, though. Don't fool yourself into thinking it will be. You'll have doubts. You'll have moments when you wonder if you made the right call, moments when the silence feels heavier than you can handle. But that's part of it. Growth isn't supposed to be comfortable. It's supposed to challenge you, push you, make you question everything you thought you knew. Because that's where transformation happens. Not in comfort, but in the fire. So stepping away, it's not just a pause. It's a declaration. It's you saying, I'm not playing by your rules anymore. I'm creating my own. And in that moment, you begin to shift. You begin to grow. And you begin to take the first step towards something no one else can give you, the power to rebuild yourself on your terms. Breaking down, it's not failure. It's not defeat. It's a necessary step, a reckoning. To rebuild yourself stronger, you've got to be willing to take yourself apart first. Piece by piece, layer by layer. You strip away everything you thought defined you, everything you thought made you who you are. And that's terrifying, isn't it? Because what if, underneath all that, there's nothing left? That's the fear. But yes, that's the voice in your head that tells you to stop, to turn back, to stay comfortable in the illusion you've been living. Here's the thing. Breaking down isn't just about falling apart. It's about making room, clearing the debris. Those old beliefs, those old habits, those outdated versions of yourself have got to go. They're taking up space, weighing you down, holding you back. You think you need them, but you don't. They're the chains you've been dragging around, pretending they're wings. But wings don't hold you back. They set you free. And the only way to find yours is to let the chains fall. It's painful. Let's not sugarcoat it. Breaking down means facing the parts of yourself you've avoided for years. The insecurities, the doubts, the regrets, they come rushing in and they don't hold back. They test you. They force you to sit with them, to look them in the eye, to feel everything you've been running from. And in that moment, you realize something incredible. Those feelings, they don't destroy you. They don't define you. They're just visitors passing through, trying to teach you something. The lesson, you're stronger than you think. Stronger than all of it. But strength doesn't come from ignoring the breakdown. It comes from embracing it, from letting it do its job. Because a breakdown isn't the end, it's the beginning. It's the signal that the old way isn't working anymore, that it's time for something new. And that's where the breakthrough starts. Not when you fight the breakdown, but when you surrender to it. When you stop trying to hold it all together and let yourself fall apart, knowing that the pieces will come back together better, sharper, stronger. It's a messy process. There's no map, no guidebook, no step-by-step instructions. It's raw, it's real, and it's uniquely yours. No one else can do it for you. No one else can tell you how to do it. You got to trust yourself, trust the process, trust that process, trust that on the other side of the breakdown is the breakthrough you've been searching for. Because that's what breaking down is. It's the price of admission to a new version of yourself. A version that's not bound by the past, not shackled by fear, not limited by what you used to believe. It's the version of you that's ready to rise, ready to rebuild, ready to return stronger than ever before. Rebuilding from the ground up is not about patching the cracks or painting over the damage. It's about tearing it all down and starting fresh, with nothing but the raw materials of who you are and who you want to become. It's about standing in the rubble of what was and deciding with every ounce of determination you've got that you're going to build something unshakable. It's not easy. Nothing worth having ever is, but it's necessary. Because the old structure, the one you thought was strong enough, wasn't. That's why it crumbled. That's why you're here, staring at the foundation, wondering where to even begin. You begin by getting clear on what matters. Strip away the unnecessary, the distractions, the things that weighed you down. This is where you dig deep, not just into the ground, but into yourself. What do you stand for? What's your foundation? It can't be built on what other people think of you. It can't be built on shallow goals or fleeting desires. No, it's got to be solid. Built on principles, on values, on truths that don't waver no matter what comes your way. Because when the storms hit, and they will, you can't afford to crumble again. This time, it's got to hold. The work is deliberate. Brick by brick, step by step, you start putting yourself back together. And it's not about rushing. You don't cut corners when you're rebuilding. Every piece has to be examined, tested, and placed with care. This is life we're talking about, not some temporary fix. You want to rush back to the world, to show them you're okay, that you're still standing. But rushing only leads to weak spots. So you take your time. You make sure every part of the new you is aligned with the vision of who you're becoming. And let me tell you, there will be setbacks, days when it feels like you're moving backward, days when you wonder if you've got what it takes. But those are the days that matter most. Because rebuilding isn't just physical or external, it's internal. It's about rewiring your mind, strengthening your heart, and fueling your soul. It's about unlearning the lies you told yourself and replacing them with truths that empower you. It's about creating new habits, ones that serve you, ones that lift you higher up. There's a beauty in the process, even if you don't see it at first. As you rebuild, you start to notice the strength you didn't know you had, the resilience that wasn't there before. And it's not just about being tough. It's about being whole. Every brick you lay, every decision you make, every step you take, it all adds up. Until one day, you step back and see what you've created. A structure that stands tall, a foundation that won't falter, a version of yourself that is unbreakable. And that's when you realize it wasn't just about rebuilding, it was about becoming. The vibrational upgrade is not just a shift in energy, it's an evolution. It's stepping into a higher frequency, a realm where you're no longer weighed down by the past, by fear, by the things that once held you back. It's about alignment. Aligning with who you're meant to be, with the version of yourself that operates at a level most people can't even comprehend. This isn't about surface changes. It's not about pretending to be better or stronger. This is about transformation, real and undeniable. You can feel it when it starts to happen. It's like a hum inside you, growing louder with every step you take toward your purpose. But it doesn't just come out of nowhere. A vibrational upgrade requires work, deep, unrelenting work. You got to clean out the negativity, the self-doubt, the toxic thoughts that cloud your mind and drag you down. Because here's the truth. You can't rise if you're still holding on to the weights of your old self. Those patterns, those stories you've been telling yourself, those limiting beliefs, they've got to go. You can't upgrade your frequency while clinging to the static of who you used to be. It's not just about letting go, it's about what you replace it with. Your energy is your currency, your power. You've got to feed it with the right things. Surround yourself with people who lift you higher, with environments that inspire you, with habits that empower you. Every choice you make affects your vibration, what you eat, what you think, what you focus on. This isn't just some abstract idea, it's science. Your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, they all create a frequency. And if you want to upgrade, you've got to start living in a way that reflects the energy you want to attract. But let me tell you, raising your vibration isn't about perfection, it's about progress. There will be days when you feel like you're slipping, like you're back at square one. That's part of the process. Growth isn't linear, and neither is energy. The key is to keep moving, to keep choosing the higher path even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Because every time you do, every time you choose to rise above the negativity, you're strengthening your vibration. You're teaching yourself that you're not controlled by circumstances or emotions. You're in control. And when you finally hit that higher frequency, it changes everything. The world doesn't look the same anymore. The things that used to bother you, the people who used to drain you, they don't have the same power. You attract better because you become better. Opportunities start showing up, connections start aligning, and life starts to flow. But it's not magic, it's you. It's the energy you've cultivated, the vibration you've built. You've done the work, and now the world responds. This is what the vibrational upgrade is all about. Not just living, but thriving. Not just existing, but radiating. It's stepping into your power and letting the world feel the force of who you've become. Emerging as your greatest self isn't about becoming someone new. It's about uncovering what's always been there, buried under fear, doubt, and the expectations of others. It's about stepping into a version of yourself that is unapologetic, unstoppable, and unshakable. But to emerge as that person, you've got to go through the fire. The trials, the breakdowns, the moments when you didn't think you could make it. Those weren't meant to destroy you. They were designed to refine you, to strip away the parts that don't serve you anymore and leave behind only the raw, unfiltered truth of who you are. There's a point in every transformation where you feel the shift. It's not dramatic, not some grand announcement. It's subtle, like the quiet strength of a storm passing. You wake up one day and the things that used to scare you don't hold the same power. The opinions of others, the fear of failure, the need for approval, they lose their grip because you've done the work. You've faced the darkness. You've looked yourself in the eye and said, no more. No more hiding. No more playing small. No more holding back. And in that decision, in that moment of clarity, you begin to rise. The world notices when you step into your greatness. They can feel it before you even say a word. It's in the way you carry yourself, the way you walk, the way you look at people. You don't demand respect. It's just given. Not because of what you've achieved, but because of who you've become. People are drawn to authenticity, to the kind of confidence that isn't loud or flashy, but rooted in something deeper. That's the power of emerging as your greatest self. It's not about proving anything to anyone. It's about knowing with every fiber of your being that you are enough. But let's not pretend it's all smooth sailing from here. Life will still test you. Challenges will still come. The difference is now you're ready for them. You don't crumble under pressure. You rise to meet it. You don't fear failure. You embrace it as part of the process. Every setback becomes a lesson, every obstacle a stepping stone. Because when you've emerged from the depths of transformation, you understand that nothing can break you. And you've already been broken. And you rebuilt yourself stronger. This version of you doesn't just take up space, it commands it. Not through force, but through presence. When you speak, people listen. When you act, people follow. Not because you're trying to lead, but because your energy inspires them to rise too. That's the ripple effect of becoming your greatest self. You don't just change your life. You change the lives of everyone around you. So when you emerge, you don't come back the same. You come back a force of nature, grounded in purpose, fueled by resilience, and radiating a power that can't be ignored. You've earned it. You've fought for it. And now you stand tall, not as someone who survived, but as someone who has truly arrived. Mastering the art of silence in action is about stepping away from the noise, the endless chatter, and the need to explain yourself. It's about understanding that power doesn't come from how loud you are or how much you say. It comes from what you do and the energy you carry while doing it. In a world where everyone is shouting to be heard, silence is a rare kind of strength. It's the confidence to let your actions speak louder than your words, to hold back when others rush forward, and to act with precision when the time is right. Silence is misunderstood. People think it's weakness, that it means you don't have anything to say, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Silence is focus. It's choosing not to waste your energy on meaningless conversations, unnecessary conflicts, or proving yourself to people who will never see your worth. When you embrace silence, you step into a space where you can hear what truly matters. Your own thoughts, your instincts, and the subtle signs the universe is always sending your way. It's in this space of quiet that clarity is born. You start to see the bigger picture, to understand what's worth your time and what isn't. Action, on the other hand, is where silence finds its voice. But this isn't action for the sake of being busy. It's not about doing more, it's about doing better. Intentional, deliberate, and calculated moves. When you act, you don't do it to impress or to seek validation. You do it because it aligns with your purpose, because it's necessary, because it's the right move at the right time. And that kind of action, it's unstoppable. It doesn't need applause. It doesn't need recognition. It speaks for itself. There's a discipline in balancing silence and action. It requires patience, restraint, and trust in yourself. The world will tempt you to react, to defend yourself, to join the noise. But when you've mastered this art, you know better. You know when to speak and when to hold your tongue, when to act and when to wait. You don't waste energy trying to control things outside your power. Instead, you focus on what you can control. Your thoughts, your emotions, your choices. And in doing so, you build a foundation of strength that can't be shaken. The beauty of silence and action lies in their simplicity. You don't announce your plans, you just execute them. You don't boast about your growth, you let it show. This isn't about seeking attention or approval. It's about creating results that speak for themselves. The people who doubted you, they'll see. The ones who underestimated you, they'll feel it. But by then you won't need their, you'll be too focused on the path ahead, too grounded in your power to care about proving anything. This mastery isn't about perfection. It's about presence. It's about being so in tune with yourself that every silence is intentional, every action is impactful, and every moment is yours to own. The journey to disappear, rebuild, and return stronger vibrationally is not just about transformation. It's about reclamation. It's about reclaiming your power, your purpose, and your identity on a level that resonates far beyond the surface. You've learned the value of stepping away to find clarity, the necessity of breaking down to break through, the discipline of rebuilding from the ground up, and the unmatched strength of mastering silence and intentional action. This isn't just a path to becoming better, it's a journey to becoming unshakable. When you return, you're no longer the same person who left. You're sharper, wiser, and stronger, vibrating on a higher frequency that attracts everything aligned with your purpose and repels what no longer serves you. The world may not be ready for the force you've become, but you don't return to fit in, you return to rise, to inspire, and to embody the power of someone who has truly found themselves. So take that first step, embrace the process, disappear, rebuild, return. And when you do, let the world feel the undeniable presence of the person you were always meant to be.